Thanks for joining me again. Now today, if you watched my previous video, which was on the Vauxhall Zafira with the bad connection, well, lo and behold, like I said, this time of year, this one is a Nissan Qashqai, and it's got exactly the same kind of fault, slightly different positioning, but it's very similar. So if you've got a Qashqai and your battery keeps going flat, you've got poor charging, it just seems to be slowly deteriorating. If you've put a new battery on, you've had your alternator checked and you can't figure out what's going on, have a look at this connection.
This is the same scenario again. This is a Nissan Qashqai, and what we've got here is the battery was flat. If I touch this fuse assembly on the side, this is warm again. If I put that open, you see this, how it's got hot, and if I touch that, that is red hot, and this is all melting. Look how this is all gone, see how it's all melting the plastic on there. Poor connection to that bolt. I go to the back plate, go to this, and 2 of the bolts, so that's quite a bad voltage drop across this, voltage drop across this circuit here. I'll touch that into there, see how low that is there. 3.4 amps.
This is the one. This is in the little fuse box connector that comes off the battery terminal. Behind the little plastic cover, inside there, you've got the main loom that comes up, the main connector. It goes into that fuse box there. Getting hot. You can actually see the plastic on the metal is starting to melt and get soft. It's a lot of heat there. There shouldn't be any heat in that at all. So what we've got to do is chop that off and put a new terminal on there, reconnect it. So let's go for it. Let's get it disconnected. Let's get this connection good and, yeah, get it good and tight.
So we'll switch the engine off. We don't need that on anymore. And now we can disconnect this big 13mm nut off there. I'll just whiz that off with the old Milwaukee. And you can see how that terminal there is tainted in colour. It's not shiny anymore. It's gone really dark. That's because it's got so hot in the, in the past. It's just really got hot, and it's still hot now. Ouch, that were hot. And if I put this is an Ohms test across here, this will just show you how ill-effective this Ohms test is. Look, we know that's a bad connection, but look, that is showing a perfect connection as far as the resistance goes. 0 resistance across that, because it's such a thick wire and there's no load on it, so it's gonna show 0. As soon as you put a load through that, that's when the fault happens. That's when you've got that poor resistance there. That's why the volt drop test is so good. It's so effective on finding these poor connections. You put a voltmeter across that with the load going through it, and you will see a difference in voltage. That's the voltage drop test, and that's when you know you've got a bad connection. Anything over 0.2 of a volt is deemed to be a bad connection. We'll just hack this off with the old choppers. I could have done with a bigger pair really, but just nip through it with these, bit at a time. Chip chop, get through that. It's a thick old wire, this one. She is a big wire, but not a lot of that wire is being used, because all around the outside of it, it's all corroded, and it's only the centre bit that's doing any good. We'll cut back this plastic, which again it's gone really molten, hard, crispy. Now it's cooling down, it's just gone really sticking. It's stuck into the wires. It's really awkward to get off. I'm gonna have to kind of cut it and peel it away. If I can do it without chopping through my hands as well, that'd be a bonus. But yeah, we've got hold of it there. Look, got a bit of it off, and just peel that away as best we can. The hotter this terminal gets while you're running the engine, the worse the connection is, the more the resistance, the worse the charge, the less amps that can go through it to the battery. This wire is coming straight up from the alternator, the starter motor circuit. So it's a really high amperage circuit. It's about 100 amps, this one, or probably even more, 150 amps, thinking about it, but the alternator on this one will be about 150 amps. Wrestling with this, look, trying to get that off. It's really, really tough. Again, I've had to modify my little terminals because I haven't got anything that big. I must get some because these big wires are getting more and more of a problem. I'll separate the crappy wires off from the outside. Get rid of all those because they're all contaminated with plastic and where it's molten onto it. So we'll get rid of all those, like I say, those contaminated wires from around the edge and just get the good stuff that's in the middle, which is about there I think, and then twist those up, and then if we can get our terminal straight down onto that. That's lovely, look. Lovely. And then we'll trim off all of these ones around the edges. Crimp that right up nice and tight. So, we'll finish this off, tied it up with some tape, get it looking nice. Now I'm not concerned about how much material I've taken out of that wire. All that round the outside was bad, it was all corroded. And this is right on the end of the wire and I've still got a decent amount inside that terminal there. So there's not going to be any heat through that. The connection is still going to be good. You've still got more than ample to get 150, 200 amps through that ring terminal. And we can reconnect that up. If you were ever worried about how much material you'd taken out of that wire, the easy thing to do would be to do another volt drop test across it. So once you've got it all bolted back up again, you could start the car up and you could put your voltmeter directly across that terminal. If the voltage was more than 0.2 of a volt, you know that you've lost too much material and you're going to have to put a bigger crimp on there. So it's a great way of judging if you've got a good connection, and again it'll get hot if there's not enough material there. That will start to get hot and you'll feel it getting warm. If it's staying nice and cool, we know we've done a good job. Like that. We can try it again and see if we've made any difference. I'm putting this down, it's nice and cool. Not going to throw to it.
So we popped a new terminal on, we've rebolted it up, we've fired it up, the temperature's down, the connection's good. it's looking like a perfect job. So if that's been of any use to you, if you've got the Qashqai and you've got these charging issues, check that connection, redo it, drop me some comments, like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.